If this evening were to end right now, our appetite in the arts would have been satisfied. Thank you, Matthew Smith. But the evening has not ended. Good evening. I'm Paul Wiegraff, Director of the Delaware Division of the Arts, and it's my privilege and pleasure to welcome all of you this evening to the 2014 Governor's Awards for the Arts. Before we continue, I would like to ask all of you to make sure your phones are silenced so that we are not interrupted by that this evening. I would also like to thank up front all of the people that have made this evening possible. Our honorary co-chairs, First Lady Carla Markell and State Arts Council Chair Lise Monti, the Delaware State Arts Council, and the Division of Arts staff, especially Sheila Dean Ross, the coordinator of this evening's event. Opera diva Beverly Sills once said, "Art is the signature of civilization." Renaissance painter Leonardo da Vinci observed, "Art is the queen of all the sciences, communicating knowledge to all the generations of the world." While author Henry Miller noted, "Art teaches nothing except the significance of life." The people and organizations that we celebrate tonight are signatories of our civilization. They are masters of the queen of all sciences. They are mentors to us all through the richness of their art. It's my privilege now to introduce this evening's MC, who will lead us through the ceremonies, Tina Betts. Tina is a member of the Delaware State Arts Council, appointed by Governor Markell in 2013. While Tina currently serves as the executive director of the Light Up the Queen Foundation, many of you may know her through her 12 years of service as the director of the City Cultural Affairs Office under Mayor James Baker. Others may know Tina from her voiceover work, her acting and singing career in regional theaters and off-Broadway, or her work as an independent producer of business meetings and special events, trade shows, and corporate and professional development sessions. In any case, it's Tina's flair for the theatrical, her mellifluous voice, and her quick wit that make her the obvious choice to MC this evening's event. Ladies and gentlemen, Tina Betts.
Hello, everybody, and thank you. Thank you, Paul, for those kind words of introduction. I really appreciate it. Everybody kept saying to me, "You are going to stick to the script, aren't you?" I don't know why they thought I wouldn't do that, so let me get back to the script. I'm thrilled to be here tonight as your mistress of ceremony for the 2014 Governor's Awards for the Arts. It's always nice to take time to have a special event to honor special people. And tonight we will do just that during our Evening of the Arts, recognize 6 individuals and 2 organizations for their artistic contributions. All of them have shared their time, their talents, and their visions with the citizens of our wonderful state. The arts are special and speak a universal language, diverse in that they create access for everyone and give participants the authority to feel the work of creation in their own way. The arts reflect our cultural heritage, blaze a trail into a future of possibilities, and allow for the expression of truth and beliefs. The arts are provocative, stimulating, confrontational, experimental, and illuminating. The arts have the ability to transport us to a different time and place, allowing us to gain historical perspective and understanding, taking us to places we have never been, and forcing us to see things in a different light. The honorees tonight understand and exemplify these thoughts in their work every single day. My task this evening is to keep the program moving along. And I like to do that now by bringing Delaware State Arts Council Chair and co-chair for this event, Lise Monty to the podium to say a few words. Lise?
Thank you, Tina. Wow, I'm so excited to see so many of you here to help us celebrate the arts tonight. I welcome you on behalf of the State Arts Council, and I thank all of the Arts Council members who are here for the important work that they do. Their names are in the program. I also want to thank the amazing division staff, especially Sheila Dean Ross, who was in charge of this event tonight. And now I'm honored to introduce our First Lady, Carla Markell, tonight's co-chair and a dedicated supporter of the arts. Her extensive volunteer work focuses on at-risk children and encouraging volunteerism. She believes that mentoring plus an exposure to the arts can transform the lives of young people. A Newark native and a UD grad, she has served on the Delaware Theater Company's board and has worked with the Delaware Public Archives and Winterthur Museum in the ongoing process to renovate our governor's house in Dover. And this is being done free of taxpayer money. Finally, people in the arts community often talk about this. We often cheer Carla because we know the influence that she has had on her husband in his strong support of the arts. So please welcome First Lady Carla Markell.
Good evening, everybody. This is so beautiful. Really, I have not looked out this way before. It's spectacular. What a treasure the Grand Opera House is. We're so lucky to have it here in Delaware. So this is fun. I have an opportunity to introduce my husband. That doesn't happen very often. But I will say that years and years and years ago, even when we were just dating, we had long conversations about what matters in our society. And I can remember having the conversation specifically about the arts and why they're so relevant and why they make such a big impact on the world we live in, and why in so many ways they're what make life worth living, between the books we read and the arts we see and the legacy they leave for all of us to be able to experience life together. And he has been an incredible champion, along with our wonderful Secretary of State, Jeff Bullock. I really want to give him a big round in all this. Jack chose well. Jack chose well in his cabinet's secretary choice for Secretary of State, that's for sure. So without Jeff, really, I mean, Jeff has been an amazing partner to work with, and I thank Jack for choosing him. But Jack's just, he gets it, he understands the intrinsic value of it artistically, but it's also an economic development tool for us. I mean, without a great, thriving arts community, with a great arts community, it's a big attraction for companies that want to put their employees here and have a high-quality place to live and make their lives. So with that, I want to thank my husband for all that he does and introduce him to all of you, and enjoy your evening.
Well, thank you, Carla. She found out about 90 seconds ago that she was introducing me. So I was whispering all kinds of things in her ear as she was standing there about what she could say. She didn't take any of that, but that's okay. Instead, it turns out she spends half the introduction introducing Jeff Bullock, and he gets more applause than I do anyway, so it's okay. The famous Welsh poet, W.H. Davis, wrote, "What is this life? If full of care, we have no time to stand and stare." That line resonates perhaps more today than ever, because we're living in the midst of an extraordinary technology and internet revolution. It's brought remarkable advances in communications and healthcare and so much more, all improving the quality of our lives. Limitless information is instantaneously at our fingertips, and it's literally in the palm of our hands through our 4G-capable smartphones. But if we're not careful, if we're too fixated with finding one more fact about a news event or rushing to our next appointment or examining our friend's social media feed, then we're also likely to miss out on experiences that offer inspiration and emotion and joy. And these experiences are regularly available to us thanks to the arts. Now, I first read that W.H. Davis quote several years ago in a Washington Post story. The paper had conducted an experiment on the public's recognition of great art about whether in the middle of the hectic bustle of daily activity, whether we can take a moment to stop and to stare when we encounter artistic brilliance. The Post worked with Joshua Bell, widely recognized as one of the greatest violinists of our generation, who was at that time really recognized as the best classical musician in the country. He was dressed in street clothes at the L'Enfant Plaza metro station in Washington, D.C. He wore a T-shirt, jeans. He put a baseball cap on backwards, and he stood next to a garbage container at that metro station. And then he took out his guitar, his violin. It was a Stradivarius, and he performed for a little under an hour, playing some of the most incredible pieces ever written for any instrument, while about 1,100 people passed his location, and the entire time was recorded on video. The reporter from the Washington Post described Bell as playing with acrobatic enthusiasm, his body leaning into the music and arcing on tiptoes at the high notes. The sound was nearly symphonic, carrying to all parts of the homely arcade as the pedestrian traffic filed past. Yet of the 1,100 people, men and women of every race, ethnicity, and age group, only 7 stopped to listen. 27 flipped some change into Bell's empty case for a total haul after 45 minutes of $32. It's an amazing scene to watch, and as I mentioned, all captured on hidden camera. It's a reminder of what we have to gain when we make the arts a priority in our communities, in our schools, and our homes, and of course, a reminder of what we lose when we don't. And I was struck by one hopeful aspect of this story. Without fail, the young children in the area were drawn to the music. They stopped. They listened. They were entranced by the performance. But every one of those children was whisked away by an adult who took their hand and kept walking. You know, despite all the attractions in our lives, we have a natural yearning for art. We know and we feel intuitively that the arts make us more complete, more well-rounded, and happier when we have the chance to appreciate them. And so I joined Carla, who has in fact taught me a lot about the arts and about appreciation of the arts, but I join her in congratulating all of our honorees. They've earned endless accolades for excellence in their respective endeavors, directing a symphony orchestra, telling stories through documentary films, making art available to so many Delawareans, conducting and composing beautiful music, writing poetry and literature, and playing the violin. And most importantly, a common theme emerges from their distinct professions and passions. All of our honorees have made the arts more accessible to the public, frequently by engaging our youth to help them develop their affinity for the arts. So tonight's event offers a forum to express not only reverence for their work, but also gratitude for drawing our attention to the beauty of arts in our world, by giving us opportunities to stop and to listen and to appreciate and to stare. They help us recognize how much fuller our lives become when we're exposed to the painter's dazzling brushwork, the musician's vibrant sound, and the poet's gift for vivid expression. And in doing so, they have touched Delawareans' hearts and minds in a way that no other experience can. And they've made Delaware a better place to live. Thanks to all of you.
Governor Russell Peterson, whose tenure as governor of the state of Delaware ran from 1969 through 1973, began the tradition of honoring Delaware artists in 1970. And I'd like to pause for just a moment to say hello and to recognize Mrs. June Peterson, who's here in the audience tonight, I believe. Where are you, June? Good. Now, ever since 1970, every governor has continued the tradition, and they've expanded the honor to include not only individual artists, but also arts educators, organizations, and individual and corporate patrons of the arts. Now, we have also introduced the tradition of commissioning a Delaware artist to produce unique awards for each event. This year's award, entitled Treasure Box, is created by woodcraft artisan Michael Quattrocaccio. How did I do, Michael? Okay. Who is based in Milford. Michael began working with wood at the young age of 9. And since that time, he has developed and honed his craft and has won many awards in the process. The Treasure Box Award is an Asian design using different types of wood. The body made of cherry, the legs of walnut, and the front and back panels made of spalted maple. Each box is custom made and numbered with 8 different landscape designs reminiscent of Delaware's shores. The artist is here with us tonight. Michael, please stand and be acknowledged. The arts have the power to touch you deep within your soul, shaping the mind, stirring emotions, and connecting you with creativity, beauty, and introspection. The honorees here tonight understand the power, purpose, and passion that the arts can play in the lives of Delawareans, whether it is breaking through barriers, transcending differences between people, uplifting the human condition, or expanding opportunities to collaborate and participate. Our first honoree's powerful leadership as music director of the Delaware Symphony since 2002 has led the symphony through 12 successful seasons, their first CD recording in 2010, and several noteworthy new ventures and collaborations with many of the state's arts organizations. Holding degrees in piano performance, instrumental conducting, and orchestral conducting from the Juilliard School and Indiana University, David Amado has guest conducted throughout the world, including the Chicago Symphony, the Philadelphia Orchestra, and the Toronto Symphony Orchestra, among many others. A committed music educator, David has also visited, performed, and lectured at many of the public and private schools in our state. Receiving the Governor's Award for his leadership of the Delaware Symphony Orchestra and his commitment to collaborations, partnerships, and new ventures, David Amado.
Mistress. That'd be great. Thank you. Well, gosh, thank you so much, Governor, Mrs. Markell, Lise, Tina, Paul, wherever you are, for this tremendous honor. The arts are the foundation of culture. Not measured in dollars, arts value is instead a deeply felt sense of spiritual enrichment, giving us comfort in times of need or challenging us out of cultural complacency. The arts are a sustaining necessity, clarifying our experiences by placing them in the broadest context. That context was almost silenced a few years ago when the Delaware Symphony, for the first time in its century-plus history, almost vanished. Delaware would have been the first state without a professional orchestra. But the DSO, thanks to the dedication of many of you here tonight, pulled back from the brink of extinction. Thank you to our DSO musicians, our board and staff, our late chairman, Bruce Callis, who nominated me for this award, and our former chairwoman, Tatiana Copeland, without whose support there would be no Delaware Symphony for me to lead. Thanks to each of you, too, for being our vocal and passionate advocates, and for helping our community appreciate the power our art has to connect each of us to a deep humanity too easily glossed over in our slick, one-click world. Thank you in advance for continuing your advocacy. And once again, thank you, Governor and Mrs. Markell, for this honor. Very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Sharon Baker's gift of documentary storytelling as an independent filmmaker has served a valuable purpose for so many Delawareans and Delaware organizations, and has established Sharon as an award-winning artist. Sharon's online portal, contentdelaware.org, is a video storytelling project for Delaware, and her Media Mentors programs trains underserved youth in the art and craft of digital storytelling. Beyond Delaware's borders, Sharon's films, television programs, and screenplays have been recognized in esteemed festivals nationwide, aired on American Public Television, PBS, the History Channel, Nickelodeon, Bravo, and the National Geographic Channel, and has earned Sharon 9 regional Emmys, as well as national awards. Sharon is also the co-founder of Teleduction, Inc., and the founder of nonprofit Serviam Media, Inc., and its Hearts and Minds Film Initiative and Festival.
I primarily think of myself as a storyteller. And in order to tell stories, I use light and sound and sometimes scripting and design. I went to college as a theater major, but while I was there, I also made films, and I loved the process. I loved the people I met. I loved the tools, and I could put stories together, and so I found it very appealing. The films of which I am most proud all have a connection to Delaware. Filmed in Africa, and I've filmed in China, and I've filmed all over Europe, and I've filmed in Central America and all over the United States. And I find there is no shortage of inspiration right here in Delaware. There's history here, there's art here, there's music here, but I also see film as a very powerful tool for civic engagement. We want to say something with these films. We want to make our community a better place, to raise awareness anyway, to get the dialogue started, and to address some of the really important issues that need addressing. So I really am so very fortunate to be able to live in a place that I love and, practice the work that I really love, which is storytelling.
Receiving the award for her artistry and accomplishments in filmmaking industry and her support and commitment to the media arts in the first state, Ms. Sharon Baker.
David's a hard act to follow. Hello? All right. I have a little parable, in case there are children here this evening, that I'd like to share. So I was the kid who lived in the art room, drawing, painting, paging through art history books, working on the school plays, singing in the chorus, writing stories, and experimenting with my father's home movie camera. And all of this made me want to know more about history and science and language and just enough math. Like most of you in this theater tonight, I was largely inspired to achieve whatever I have through my exposure to the arts. So I think that makes me, and all of you, a positive outcome. And if this is what we truly want for our students, we need to put the steam back into STEM and help. Are you with me? Put the steam back into STEM and help to inspire learning through an arts-infused curriculum, particularly in our low-achieving schools, where so many children strain to get a glimpse of possibility beyond the poverty that too often obstructs their view. And by the way, this is the technology required for learning in the arts. We can do this in Delaware, Governor. Leonardo da Vinci would approve of this message, and I am so grateful to my wonderful family, my wonderful colleagues, my dear friends, and my beloved Delaware community. Thank you so much.
Sean Gow's passion for combining music and innovation has created the fastest growing unconventional concert series in the state, the University of Delaware Master Players Concert Series. Recognized as one of the world's most successful concert violinists and multifaceted musicians from China, Sean Gow's virtuoso technique has gained accolades from audiences and reviewers around the world. And he has performed with more than 100 symphony orchestras worldwide. In addition to creating the Master Players Concert Series at UD, Gao is a founding member of China Magpie Ensemble of Yo-Yo Ma's Silk Road Project and Six Wire, a Delaware-based crossover duet with soloist Kathy Yang.
There are three things I do passionately in life. Master Players Concert Series really does all three things. One is performing. Live music has this unsurpassed power. It brings people together. It really helps Delaware and especially Newark to become a cultural center. And number two, I love teaching, and education is a big part of my profession. The Master Players provides education to college-age students and also younger students in the area. And number three is I'm passionate about U.S.-China relations. We have been bringing American and Chinese-American artists together through the series to really promote the incredibly important U.S.-China relations for the sake of our children and grandchildren, and for the sake of the peace of the world. Wherever I am, music is always important. In Delaware, we're so close to major cities, and yet we're also very far from them. This is home for me. We want to make sure people don't have to travel far away to experience high culture. And that's why I believe in Master Players and live music. And I hope that soon people will realize that the major events happening in the Big Apple, in Washington, D.C., and Philly, they're coming to us. Teaching, directing the concert series, and performing on my own, creating original productions. I'm doing everything I really want to do.
Receiving the Governor's Award for his accomplishments in creation, innovation, and musicianship, Sean Gao.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, Lise. Thank you, Tina. I'm truly thrilled to be here tonight. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the other accomplished Delaware artists and organizations for winning this prestigious award. And I feel very, very honored to be recognized among them, all of them. Dear friends, I personally know many other Delawareans who also deserve this award for their inspiring work in the arts, and I would like to accept this award on behalf of all of them. Governor Markell, Mrs. Markell, and the Delaware Division of the Arts, I thank you for your ongoing commitment to enhancing the arts, the quality of life for the citizens of our state and the surrounding communities. I'd like to thank all the volunteers, educators, administrators, generous supporters, and of course, our audience members for live music. You are a source of inspiration for all of us musicians. I'd like to thank my concert project collaborators for their incredible artistic contribution and my colleagues at the University of Delaware. To my wife Renee and our 9-year-old daughter Samantha, thank you for your support and encouragement. Thank you all. I look forward to seeing you all in the audience or on the stage. Thank you.
Eunice LaFate is owner of the LaFate Gallery and also is an accomplished self-taught visual artist who has used the power of folk art combined with community service to improve the lives of children, adults, and the communities that she works with. Originally from Jamaica, Eunice's creative artistic vision reflected in her paintings finds its origins in the colors and tones of the island's people, in its landscape and its culture. She has been painting for over 20 years, and her work can be found in the permanent collections of the William Jefferson Clinton Presidential Library in Little Rock, Arkansas, and the Blue Barn Museum right here in Wilmington, Delaware. In her role as a speaker for the Delaware Humanities Forum and a board member of the Creative Vision Factory, Eunice has advocated for the folk art form and encouraged participation in the creation of art by children and adults across the state.
Folk art, simply put, is art which is created directly from the heart. It is self-taught. It is about life stories. It's about the joys, the sorrows, and the perspectives of life. And it is created by people who have no formal training, as distinguished from fine arts. There is no perspective, precision, and accuracy with folk art. It is raw. You paint it. And when people look at it, they're looking at a life story. Because as an advocate for the arts, I see it as a way that we can use it to create young people who we can keep them at promise and prevent them from being at risk. The value of creating art is that you're linking the community. You can create works of art not just for the beauty, but you can use it to inspire other people through the stories that may be behind the piece of work.
Receiving the Governor's Award for her efforts in connecting and infusing the folk arts with community service and advocacy, Eunice LaFate.
Good evening. I am tremendously honored and deeply humbled to receive this award. I would like to thank Governor Markell and Mrs. Markell for their tremendous leadership in this community and supporting the arts. 20 years ago, when I started exhibiting my art in the city, I received intriguing questions like, and the people in Jamaica don't have fingers? Why do you round off the hands? And my response, folk art doesn't have any perspective or accuracy. It's life stories. I have lived folk art in the city of Wilmington. I'm delighted that I was able to work with kids on the east side of Wilmington under what I consider arts as prevention. And those kids have graduated from college and are leading productive lives. I would like to thank a number of organizations that have helped me. I would like to thank One Village Alliance for nominating me for this award. I would like to thank my wonderful family, my husband, Robert LaFate, and my son, Jermaine, and the rest of the LaFate family, and all my friends and relatives in this audience this evening. Thanks to all my art fans, art patrons, my wonderful church, Faith City, the rock of my life. And I would like to thank you all for being here this evening. Thank you.
Okay, so now before we proceed in recognizing tonight's awardees, we are pleased to present a performance by 15-year-old Pyerce Lateef Oates, a talented young man who attends Cab Calloway School of the Arts, a 2004 Governor's Award for the Arts recipient. Please welcome Pyerce to the stage. Pyerce Lateef Oates. Remember that name. Billie Travalini has purposefully combined her love of writing and education, not only to create opportunities for other writers in the state to improve their craft, but also to help inspire at-risk youth to use the art of creative writing as a tool to process, inspire, and educate. An internationally recognized award-winning writer, Ms. Travalini is also the co-founder and coordinator of the Lewis Creator Writers Conference, now in the 7th year of operation. Billie has organized numerous professional development opportunities for colleagues and the public, and has spent years teaching students served by Delaware's Department of Services for Children, Youth, and their families, where she uses creative writing to inspire critical thinking. Determined to share the students' work with a wider audience, she compiled and created an award-winning book entitled Teaching Troubled Youth, a practical pedagogical approach, which has an important message on the human condition.
I'm one of the lucky ones. I didn't start out easy, and it didn't get any easier, but I did have a tenacity that enabled me to see through the fog to something better and to take each person from where he or she is. You know, being a child who was very perceptive and watchful, I quickly learned the behaviors of people, the interesting parts, the rather odd, sometimes funny, and horrifically damaging things. I found a wholeness that could only be explained in stories. There, I could show both sides and, in some sense, come to a greater understanding. When I got into education was when I was living in the hospital unit. And I saw a huge juxtaposition between the kind of care that children that were marginalized deserved and what they were receiving. No matter where you are or how marginalized you are, you can make a difference. And that having a voice, once again, matters, because a lot of the kids that I worked with, working with them and seeing the incredible writing, the art and the stories that they produce, you know, show such potential. And if you don't get to know one person that you have an opportunity to get to know, you have lost an opportunity to know more about yourself. There's an interesting story in everyone, so why not sit back and enjoy it?
Receiving the Governor's Award for her accomplishment as a literary artist, educator, and community servant, Billie Travalini.
Hi, I first want to say I was born in Delaware. I've lived here all my life, and I love Delaware. That doesn't mean it's always been easy, but it's always been worth it. I would like to thank those who have supported me for this award. Governor Jack Markell, First Lady Carla Markell, the State Arts Council, and certainly Monty and the Delaware Division of the Arts, Paul Reecraft, and Abby Milliger, who nominated me, and the Jackie Katz, who with the education unit of the Department of Services for Children, Youth, and their Families, and Chris Dudbridge and Kristen Grammer of the Lewis Public Library, all of whom didn't know who I was when I offered to say, you know, or give a phone call and say, hey, I'd like to work with you. And they all said, yeah, okay, let's hear what you have to say. But I also want to thank all the children that have lived at Governor Bacon, because they taught me what it's like not to have a voice. And they led me to my life's work, and I will never forget them for that. Thank you.
The Joshua M. Freeman Foundation realizes the powerful role that the arts play in the lives of Delawareans and has partnered with established Delaware arts groups, nationally acclaimed guest artists, and schools to ensure that Sussex County and the surrounding area residents have access and exposure to the arts. The first season of arts programming at the Freeman Stage in 2008 began with 28 performances, all free to the public, serving over 14,000 attendees. The Freeman Stage now has grown to presenting over 50 performances each summer, reaching well over 40,000 people. In addition to summer stage adult performances, the Freeman Foundation features a 12-week Saturday morning summer children's series of programs, and during the school year, presents more than 20 performances at no charge for Sussex County school children in area schools.
The Freeman Stage is everyone's stage. I think that it's the community stage. Community isn't just about, people. It's about having communal places to come and have mutual experiences together. Everyone should have the opportunity to hear a symphony. Everyone should be able to sit in the audience and listen to beautiful music or be exposed to a play for the first time or a performer that, changes their perspective. The ideal really needed to be about bringing the arts to everyone. We became quickly committed to always maintaining a certain amount of performances that were free and open to the public, so that no matter what you had in life, whether you had a lot or you had nothing at all, you had access. So this has really been a grassroots movement that started with however many at the first season, 15,000 people or 10,000 people, whatever it was, has grown to 45 or 50,000 people this year will attend a show. And every single one of those patrons is important. We wouldn't do it if not for them. This was an arts desert. And I think people have felt like, oh my gosh, we have a place to call our own. And we have a place where we can come and see Shakespeare to Oliver, and it's a happy place. It's everyone's place.
Receiving the Governor's Award on behalf of the Joshua M. Freeman Foundation for its accomplishments as a premier Delaware arts organization, presenting educational and enlightening programming for people of all ages, Michelle Freeman.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. I'd like to thank Governor and First Lady Markell for truly supporting the arts community. Thank you so very much. And the Delaware Division of the Arts and Paul Wiegraf for having our voice at the state level. I'd also like to thank the Joshua M. Freeman Foundation Board, Kathy Davies Harmon, Drexel Davis, and Chris Shreve, Jose and Virginia Samala, Sarah Carlson, Steve Hutler, and the late Matt Haley. I'd like to thank our patrons, sponsors, and our wonderful volunteer corps, 100 strong this year, and our staff led by the incomparable Miss Patty Grimes, Molly King, Doug Phillips, Robin Spangenberg, Bernadette Dowling, Melissa Reiser, and Dave Cattell. You really do the hardest work and produce the most beautiful shows. Sussex County was an arts desert when we first started in 2007, 2008, and 13,000 people that first season saw the arts. This year is closer to 50,000, with 13,000 children in the Sussex County school system being exposed to some form of the arts. So I am honored. As a local Wilmington girl and a DeFebo, the arts were very important growing up, and I couldn't be more honored to accept this award. Please keep your eye on us. The best is yet to come. Thank you.
VSA Delaware is passionate about working to support artistic opportunities for individuals with disabilities throughout our state. For over 25 years, they have ensured that all individuals are included and able to participate and achieve in the areas of performing and visual arts. Partnering with more than 40 Delaware schools, districts, and organizations, VSA has worked diligently to develop dialogue about accessibility, cultural access, and universal design so that everybody will be able to improve their accessibility and outreach efforts. By providing artist residency services linking the arts, disability, and education communities, Delaware schools and organizations recognize VSA Delaware as a leader in providing accessible, integrated programming to students with disabilities.
VSA Delaware is a unique organization that brings together the arts, the disability, and education communities. Essentially, VSA believes that the arts are a valuable part of everyone's life, making sure that everyone has access to the arts and opportunities to engage and achieve in the arts. The arts are important learning tools for everyone, not just children and students, but also for adults, especially for individuals with disabilities that might not have access to the arts or might not have an advocate that believes they can participate in the arts. We did a very small skit. It was a culminating event for a small performing arts residency. There was a student who, very involved disabilities, used a wheelchair, and she was the sun and moon in the skit. And at the end of the skit, her grandfather came up to me, and he thanked me for the fact that he was able to have the opportunity to see her perform, to see her do something to the best of her abilities. I realized at that point that, yes, it's about the program participants, but we reach a much broader group in that it really impacts the families as well. For me, it's about that I know the value of the arts and I understand how important they are, and I will do anything to try and communicate that, to try and help everyone understand that it's important.
Receiving the Governor's Awards on behalf of VSA Delaware for its accomplishments in integrating arts with education, access, and inclusion for all Delawareans, Jennifer Gunther.
VSA's work is possible because of our team, a team of that includes our small but mighty staff, our dedicated board of directors, our amazing residency teaching artist, the engaged classroom educators that we work with, the school and community site administrators, our funders. VSA's work is possible because that team believes and supports that everyone should have access. We've said that word a lot tonight, but everyone should have access to quality arts programming. So thank you, Governor Markell and Mrs. Markell and Delaware Division of the Arts, but most importantly, thank you to our VSA team.
Last, but certainly not least, Evelyn Swensson is a powerful force in the state of Delaware, using the magic of music to serve in the capacity of conductor, composer, performer, lecturer, and educator to many Delawareans and Delaware organizations for over 5 decades. She has been the director of music at both Mount Olivet Church in Seaford and the Aldersgate United Methodist Church in Wilmington. Evelyn has performed as a soloist with the Delaware Symphony Orchestra, Opera Delaware, the Brandywiners, and the Arden Singers, and was the first woman to conduct all 4 organizations. She has composed 12 musicals based on award-winning books in the school curriculum. And as a speaker-performer for the Delaware Humanities Forum, she has written one-woman shows that illuminate the lives of women of historical importance.
I started playing the piano when I was 9, but I had already made my debut on stage singing in the Rotary Club talent show when I was 6. Then I went to Hollins College in Roanoke, Virginia. That was near Virginia Tech, and that's where I met my husband. He proposed, and then I said, but I have a scholarship to Juilliard. Oh, well, if I'm going to be with the DuPont company and I'll be moving all around every place, and so that's not possible. So you have to make a choice. But I was a small town girl, and I was happy to be in a small town and do whatever each community needed. So I made that choice. I gradually became a composer because I ran out of things to do. And so I said, well, maybe I can do that myself. So when you're versatile and you have a lot of things that you can do, people call on you. So I've had a marvelous time in Delaware because it's such a nice small state and everybody knows everybody. And so for 58 years, I've been making music in all 3 counties: Seaford in Sussex County, Dover in Kent, and now Wilmington in Newcastle County. Now that I'm in Cokesbury, I find things to do here. As you go along in life, you can find things to do if you look. And the people will ask you, because from 40 to 85, I'm still having a wonderful career. Even when I was just a year old, my mother said that I would go and then make all these noises, and everybody would stop and say, listen to that baby. She's going to be a singer. And so that's what I have done, because all these towns that I've lived in had different needs, and I did whatever they needed. And it's been a wonderful life.
The Peggy Amsterdam Outstanding Achievement Award was created in honor of Peggy Amsterdam, who was director of the Delaware Division of the Arts from 1993 to 2000. Before Peggy's untimely passing in 2009, she was the pillar in the arts world and recognized regionally and nationally for her leadership and vision, for expanding people's access to the arts, and for supporting excellence in artistic expression. It is only fitting that due to a lifetime of work in artistic leadership, creation, expression, and education, the Peggy Amsterdam Outstanding Achievement Award is awarded to my good friend, my mentor, my director, a woman I love very, very deeply, Evelyn Swensson.
Thank you, Governor Markell, Carla, Lisa, Tina, Paul, all good friends from many years in Delaware. When we moved here, this is my daughter Lisa, she was 1 year old. Now she's the director of an art museum. My second daughter was only 6 days old when we moved to Delaware. And 2 sons were born in the Nanticoke Hospital in Seaford. But I just want to thank first Stephanie Griffin. You don't realize it, but she is writing musicals for the very special arts. And I met her when she was first a student at Westchester University, and she was Fern in Charlotte's Web with that dear little pig right here on this stage. And I have known her ever since, and she is still working with me and helping me first to write my book that's now available, and also I'm doing musicals out at Cokesbury Village where I live now. So I just always keep finding new things to do. I want to thank several people, and I'm sorry the lights aren't on because you can't see them if they stand up. But first, Doug Hearn came from Seaford today, and he was the first Amal that I directed in 1960. Carl Bocher is now living on the Riviera, and he came because he was in The Boy Who Grew Too Fast by Menotti that had its premiere here in 1980. The third student, Marios Valeras, was the cricket in Times Square in 2000, and he actually sang 8 arias, and he sang Nessun Dorma in Italian when he was 10. But he's now working for the State Department in Greece. All these wonderful students have written to me and kept in touch with me all these years. And I hope that if some of you are here, I want to see you afterwards at the party because I want to celebrate with you the years that we had together. I want to thank Leland Kimball, Director of Opera Delaware. I worked with him almost 20 years as my boss. And Marie Swijeski in the Delaware Children's Theater. We've been close friends and worked together so many years, and Tom Short at Aldersgate Church. These are people that I treasure. And finally, I wanted to say, if there are people here who worked on the stage with me, backstage, in the pit, or on the orchestra, any of the audiences that came to my works that I conducted here, please stand up so I can thank you. But thank you for coming. Yes. Thank you.
I would like to thank everyone for coming out tonight and sharing in the glory and accomplishments of these 8 awardees. And how about one more round of applause for all 8 of tonight's awardees? Before closing the program, I'd like to leave you with a quote by historian Eugene Ferguson. Pyramids, cathedrals, and rockets exist, not because of geometry, theories of structures, or thermodynamics, but because they were first a picture, literally a vision, in the minds of those who built them. Society is where it is today because people have the perception, the images and imagination, the creativity that the arts provide to make the world the place we live in today. Thank you for attending the 2014 Governor's Awards for the Arts. This concludes our program, and our awardees will meet you in the lobby. Please stop by and say hello. Thank you. Have a good night.
Well, the arts are so important to our city. The arts are important to our state. You know, whether you're a kid and you're looking for self-expression, whether you're an adult and you're looking for something to do at night or on the weekend, the arts are for everybody, and it's great to have this celebration of the arts.
Well, what it means to me is that I have more of a voice for all the at-risk children that I work with and the mentally ill that I advocate for, and that it's really an award for them because it's an honor to do service for others. We should all be doing it.
I think the arts equalize all of us, rich or poor. When you hear Beethoven or you listen to a great piece of music or see a great play, we're all the same. We're all the same. It doesn't matter. And I think that every child should have the opportunity, whether they live in Sussex County or they live in Newark or Wilmington or Dover, that they should have the same opportunity to be exposed to the arts.
Great civilizations aren't remembered for the people who made the widgets or made the most money or built the biggest mansions. They're remembered for their artistic achievements. They're remembered for the things they did outside of the the kind of the daily grind. And in that sense, the arts really are the foundation on which so much great civilization is built. And I think that we too often think of the arts as the result of the day-to-day. But instead it is the thing which is the inspiration for the day-to-day. They really do stand at the bedrock of all of our culture.
Well, I think that real learning is inspired, must be inspired. And the arts are a portal to engage children and then teach them other things like history and science. But if we engage them through the arts, we'll capture their imaginations and help them see possibilities for themselves.
Inclusion is essential because I think I said that VSA is sort of at the intersection of arts, disability, and education, but it's about those three worlds coming together and understanding each other. And so inclusion is about that. Inclusion's people with and without disabilities making art, creating art, and learning from each other, learning about each other's abilities, and not focusing on the disability, but really championing those strengths that makes us the creative individuals we are.
It is a wonderful feeling, yet it's very humbling because I see my mission as helping people, helping the underserved, and more so helping children.
Well, as I said during the event, I feel very honored to be recognized among all the other individuals and organizations. Delaware is a very small state. It's a great place to live, work, and raise children. For us musicians and producers, we like to just do our job to make Delaware really recognized as a cultural center of the country and to attract more people to come here, to enjoy our state, to stay here and create jobs and, to do all sorts of good things for our children.
The arts are just a way of getting people together and to do things together, if it's theater or if it's music. But if it's art, it's also something they can do by themselves. So each person has to choose which part of the arts they really want to contribute to.
Well, the arts are just a vital part of any community, but I think to be able to showcase the talent of our youth and our people that have spent their whole careers doing what they love in a way that makes our whole society feel richer and more enlightened and exposed to all different kinds of cultures and backgrounds in society is just a gift for our whole state.